Hello all, I am Ronita Chakraborty from Salesian College Siliguri, Department of Education, and this audio lecture is in continuation with the previous audio lectures for the paper History of Education in Ancient and Medieval India, and the lecture is in continuation with the same unit, that is Unit 3, Medieval System of Education. In the current lecture, I shall be highlighting on the methods of teaching, teacher-taught relationship, and the evaluation system that was followed under the Islamic education. When we look into the method of teaching, in Islamic education, different teaching methods were adopted to teach different subjects at different levels. Under teaching method, the most common teaching method was imitation, practice, and memorization method. This method of teaching was adopted specifically at the primary level, where the teacher, Ustad, recited the verses from the Quran, the alphabets and the table loudly, and the students, who were known as Shagird, imitated them in groups and memorized them. The education of pronunciation and good handwriting was imparted by this method. In case of an article which was published during those times, it was mentioned that the materials used for writing were wooden slate, ink and pen made from wild grass known as sarkanda. The teachers did demonstrate the students how to write, and the students did imitate the theme and by practice improved their handwriting. At the primary level, special attention was paid on proper pronunciation, good handwriting and rote learning. Apart from this method, the next method that we have was known as the speech, lecture and explanation method. This method was mostly followed in higher level, and in this method, this method followed in higher levels basically for the madrasa teaching. So at higher level, generally speech and lecture methods of teaching were used. Therefore, the higher education institutions were known as madrasas, the detailed explanation of which I have provided to you all in the previous audio lecture. The developed form of speech is called as lecture, and its success depended upon the explanation of facts and concepts that were used in the lecture. The theoretical subjects in madrasas were taught generally by a combination of the above three methods. Apart from these methods, we have logical method, which was used to teach subjects like philosophy and logic. However, the method of logic used in Islamic education was somewhat different from the method of logic that was used in the Vedic schools or the Buddhist schools. Special importance under logic method in Islamic schools was given to direct examples and Islamic theories. We also have other methods such as self-study methods, wherein the emperors lavishly spent on the preparation of handwritten manuscripts of important texts. They also constructed huge libraries for the storage and preservation of these manuscripts. As a result, opportunity of self-study was made available to the students. We also have demonstration, experimentation and practice method. This method is the developed form of the imitation method. It was used in experiment or activity-oriented subjects, arts, skills and other vocation. The teacher did demonstrate the act or experiment. The students observed the experiments, tried to understand its nature of working, practiced it, and then learned accordingly. Apart from the above methods of teaching, special emphasis has to be provided on two facts that are about, firstly, Arabic and Persian as the medium of instruction. During medieval period, the language of the common masses were Prakrit and Hindi, but Arabic and Persian were adopted as the medium of education. Akbar was the only Muslim king who made efforts to organize education in Hindi medium. That is, education in Hindi medium in some of maktabs and madrasas were implemented during Akbar's rule. Apart from that, all other Islamic rulers propagated the idea that education should be in Persian or Arabic in maktabs and madrasa. Another emphasis or special mention should be done on a unique system with regard to teaching method, and that is known as the monitorial system. Although monitorial system does not come directly under teaching method, but it is one of an important feature that was observed in the institutes. In this system, some senior students were given the opportunity to teach junior students. This system was termed as monitorial system. It had two advantages. On one hand, it could overcome the shortage of teachers, and on the other hand, a few students could get training in teaching during their study. During the medieval period, special emphasis was given upon discipline. Therefore, discipline referred to obeying the teachers and compliance to the rules of maktabs and madrasas. Non-compliance or not following the orders and rules invited strict corporal punishment like caning, kneeling down, and made to stand whole day. In this context, let us move on to the teacher-taught relationship. In the Islamic period, there was a cordial relationship between the teacher and the taught. If we look into details of the teacher-taught relationship, it is considered that the teacher should act as a guide or murshid, and the student should act as a seeker or talib. Both are to be sincere in their attitude towards each other, and the relationship between the teacher and the taught should be governed by the Quranic principles. Since Prophet Muhammad is the role model for Muslims, he is to be followed by the teacher in his teaching profession. The teacher in an Islamic education had to interact with his students in the way their biological fathers treat them. As we all know, a father loves his child and is always concerned about their welfare. The teacher should also look into the welfare of the student, helping the student to develop from all angles, physically, emotionally, morally, and intellectually. In other words, the teacher should promote overall development of the student. The teacher also has to feel concerned about how to ensure students' growth mentally as well as morally. It is clear that the secret of the Prophet's success, among other things, was his gentle and kind approach to his disciples. A teacher who has the mission of imparting knowledge to his students has to act in the same manner so as to ensure success in his task. The social status of the teacher was high, and they were men of character. Through their actions, and they commanded universal respect and confidence. A teacher was never confronted with any serious problem of discipline. Students were humble, submissive, and obedient owing to the high honor and the prestige occupied by the teacher in society. A Muslim teacher's conduct, whether in public or in private, therefore was supposed to correspond to his assertions. That is, the teachers should practice what they preach. If the teacher's personality did not reflect Islamic characters, the students may not expect him to be sincere in learning, and therefore they would refuse to accept knowledge from him. This disturbance of relationship between the teacher and the taught could thus affect the whole process of education, leading to students getting confused. As such, it was very important for the teachers, therefore, to reflect the proper Islamic character according to the code and conduct mentioned in the holy text. If we look into what Professor S.N. Mukherjee, a prominent historian, has observed, he said that the teachers took to teaching for the love of learning. They were held in high esteem. The number of students with the teacher was limited. He paid individual attention to each student. Although a teacher did not have many students to teach, still the teacher would take the help of senior and advanced students to teach the younger or junior students, as I have mentioned previously under monitorial system. Punishments were quite severe, as I have already mentioned. Truants, delinquents, or students showing misconduct were caned, as I have previously told. And another mode of punishment that was seen was the students were asked to hold their ears by taking their hands from under their thighs while sitting on their tiptoes. This is colloquially known as the Murga pose. Lastly, we move on with the evaluation system. Under evaluation system, no formal system of evaluation was observed in the Islamic form of education. The system of examination depended upon the will of the teacher to send the student to higher classes or not. Degree was given after the completion of education. There was no half-yearly or annual examination fixed for the students, but the students were examined from time to time in practical situations of life. That is, there was continuous evaluation done based on how they are going to deal with various practical scenarios that the teacher posed in front of them. Students with extraordinary calibers were conferred with degrees in specially organized functions. These degrees, as I have previously mentioned in the previous audio lecture, were usually imparted in what we know as madrasas, and these degrees were Qabil, Alim, Fazil. We also have another degree which was known as Kamil. So with this we come to the end of evaluation system. Thank you, students.